G'day cocktail lovers, it's coming up on Halloween, so I'm going to show you a neat trick to make your Halloween cocktail look really cool. This is not difficult, but I'm getting in early because you do need a little bit of lead time for this. You also don't need any special equipment. All you need is a skull mold and an insulated coffee cup. At this point, I can just hear some internet pedant saying, well, you need water too. Like, yeah, sure, I need water. And a freezer, and electricity, and the laws of physics. Don't be a dork, okay? Oh my God. Wow, can you tell I've been on the internet too long and I've had to put up with too many dorks? If you're a Halloweeny person, I'm willing to bet you already know where to get a skull ice mold, or you already have them. They're not difficult to get. This came from a set that had a little rack. You hang them upside down and put water in them, and you got skull ice. Looked cool, but because the water's trapped in here when it's freezing, all the air bubbles freeze in it and you end up with cloudy ice. We're going to use the magic of directional freezing to get a perfectly clear ice skull. In order to do that, simple step, cut a hole in the top of the mold. Then, when it's upside down, in your insulated coffee cup, it will freeze from the top down and the air bubbles will get pushed out through that hole, giving us some magical clear ice. It does of course mean you can't use this mold anymore in its traditional way because there's a hole in it, but with that hole we are going to get some clear ice. No matter that we're using an insulated cup, if you don't have that hole in there, the ice won't be clear. So you got to, from a certain perspective, sacrifice your skull mold. You could use a smaller or narrower coffee cup where the mold will sit right on the top and then the ice will just be the skull, and that's cool, but I like this larger one. The mold actually drops down a little, and when it freezes, the first bit is just clear ice, and then the skull is like on a pedestal, which makes it sit up nicely in a rocks glass. For me, to get the right result in this glass, it needs to be in the freezer for about 3 days, so that's what I mean about getting a bit of lead time. Not difficult because all you're doing is waiting, but you are waiting. After the requisite time, I find the best way to get it out is to sit it upside down on something where it can drain out. And after a while, and again, this can take a couple of hours because it's not like an ice cube tray. You can't squeeze it and make it come out. It just has to melt a little. It'll slide out and the skull will be surrounded by ice. We don't want the skull surrounded by ice. We want the ice that's inside. So you're going to have to break away the ice that will be surrounding it. But don't go too full on when doing that because we don't want to damage the ice that's inside the mold. As I said, this will sit quite nicely in a rocks glass, but if you want it to absolutely stay in place, that's pretty easy. Just have a little water in the bottom of the glass, sit the ice on that, and put it back in the freezer for a little while. Really only a few minutes is all you need, and that will freeze in place and it won't move around. I'm not going into details with a cocktail recipe for this video. I think it just should be red for Halloween, or maybe you want black. I think red is good, but I'm not stopping at a red drink, a bloody drink pouring over the ice skull. I'm going to do one more thing to impress your friends. Fire! The easiest way to get the fire happening is after pouring your cocktail, put a float of high-proof whiskey in there, and that is much easier to set on fire. Technically, you can set 40% alcohol on fire, but it takes longer, and really it needs to be a bit warm, which is difficult when it's on ice. I'm pouring over some high-proof white rum and then torching it with a kitchen torch, that used to make brulee desserts. Once it's on fire, to really show it off, sprinkle it with some cinnamon powder, or what I found works even better is cinnamon sugar used for dusting hot drinks. Don't forget to blow out the flame before you drink the cocktail. Don't be clever thinking you can drink a flaming cocktail. That's really dangerous. You could end up inhaling flame into your lungs. You could basically hurt yourself is what I'm saying. I don't want you to hurt yourself. I want you to come back and see my next video and the ones after that. So please, safety first, but I hope you like that little trick to impress your friends at Halloween, or you know what? Even do it for yourself. You're special and you deserve it. Cheers.